It was supposed to be buried like all their secrets, a flick of a pen here, a few offshore accounts there, and poof! Disappeared into the thick velvet fog of silence they've always paid handsomely to maintain. But this time, oh no, this time the fog didn't swallow the truth. It spat it out. At 3:07 a.m., a file slipped through digital cracks too narrow for the average eye. And by 3:11, the world was watching it unravel like the threads of a royal robe, drenched in gasoline, burning fast and loud. No warnings, no filters, just raw exposure. The kind that leaves empires twitching. Faces they'd carefully polished with PR smiles now pixelated in corruption. Broadcasted in glorious 4K, boardroom kings, ministry queens, celebrity philanthropists turned cautionary tales. The truth didn't knock this time. It kicked the damn door down. And that's when the scrambling began. At first, they thought it was a bluff, that the lake would die under the weight of public exhaustion because scandals were currency now and people were numb. But this wasn't just another CEO caught whispering lies into his expense report. This was systemic, decades deep, international names that crossed borders and backhanded deals that danced between governments, cartels, and the polished hands of influencers who preached virtue in daylight and drank sin by moonlight. The servers couldn't handle the traffic. Neither could the narrative. "This is misinformation," they screeched from their podiums. "It's AI-generated. It's deep fake. It's foreign propaganda." Yet the footage bled reality. You could hear the echoes of truth between the boardroom walls, bouncing off mahogany tables and diamond-studded consciences. In a dim-lit room with no windows, they gathered, the untouchables, the men and women who weren't supposed to be in the spotlight, unless it was for a charity gala or a Forbes cover, now sat like fallen gods. Each tapped into phones already compromised, scrambling for lifeboats on a ship they never thought could sink. "Damage control," someone muttered, as if 2 words could patch a bleeding continent. "Get the media on the line. Our anchors, our scripts, we'll call it a smear campaign. We'll flip it. Always have." But the problem was, it had already gone viral in a language no algorithm could catch. The people weren't just reading. They were translating, sharing, stitching the scandal into bedtime stories and morning prayers. It wasn't just exposure anymore. It was folklore. Meanwhile, beneath the city's skin, those silenced for years began to whisper again. Journalists blacklisted saw their articles resurface like ghosts resurrected. Whistleblowers vanished into protective custody, had voices echoing from anonymous accounts. Timelines painted a picture too detailed to deny. One tweet led to a thread led to a video. The video opened a portal. Suddenly, the lie wasn't just visible, it was interactive. People didn't just read the corruption, they lived it, saw it mapped on screens overlaid on their neighborhoods, their schools, their pensions, the money trails, false charities, foundations built on bones, children trafficked under guise of missions, the NOS that acted more like cartels. All of it connected. One figurehead, a man who once smiled beside presidents and preached integrity, now faced the mirror without his cosmetic armor. He aged 5 years and 5 minutes. His press team issued a vague statement. "We are aware of recent misinformation." Even the bots didn't retweet it. The internet had evolved past their tricks. Comments poured in. "Nice suit. How many lives did it cost?" Funny how the man who cried for orphans forgot offshore accounts tied to orphanage fraud. Then came receipts, screenshots, voice recordings, signatures, dates, witnesses. People with nothing left to lose. People ready to burn it all. But as the firestorm raged, the old machine clanked into motion. Lawyers dispatched like hounds. Search engines mysteriously de-indexed videos. Social media platforms experienced technical errors. Accounts vanished. The puppeteers knew which wires to cut, but didn't realize the internet had cloned the scandal into 1,000 corners. Memes, songs, TikToks, graffiti. It was no longer a story. It was an uprising masquerading as entertainment. The cover-up was becoming more scandalous than the scandal itself. Inside an underground vault with steel doors and retina locks, they activated Protocol Obsidian, a wartime digital blackout. But a rogue IT engineer had slipped in a back door. As the countdown began, screens flickered with live streams. Hackers relayed the vault feed to the public. The elites, sweat-drenched, frantic, not gods, just parasites in luxury. The market crashed, stocks plummeted, currency imploded. For the first time in a decade, people didn't blame inflation. They blamed them. Corporations issued statements. We had no knowledge. We stand with truth. But timestamps told another story. Emails surfaced. Boardroom confessions captured by interns turned insurgents. A buffet of betrayal, and the public feasted. Outrage spilled onto streets. Protesters chanted slogans crafted in memes. Murals mocked modern pharaohs. Signs read, "We remember everything." Betrayal came from within. Assistants turned informants. Spouses leaked diaries. Therapists invoked whistleblower clauses. Empires collapsed not with bombs, but confessions. The irony? They'd planned for assassins, riots. Never their own staff stopping the charade. The butler's USB drive, the nanny's audio files, the driver's dashboard cam. The closest had absorbed years of cruelty. Now they had stories to tell. But it wasn't over. The first leak was a chapter. The rest, a storm. In a foreign basement, a hooded figure leaned back, whispering, "Now they'll know what fear tastes like. If this was the beginning, the next wave will be biblical, the kind that erases." When the second leak detonated, real-time surveillance, affairs, bribes, the world documented, screen-recorded, backed up, a media mogul's late-night call, bury the rest, threaten families, clipped, subtitled, remixed into song. His apology video, comments crucified him before 10,000 views. He vanished, suicide, extraction, no one cared. Infrastructure buckled, sponsors fled, banks imploded, UN diplomats shouted like street vendors, celebrities, royalty, tech titans, all exposed, streets organized, shadow syndicates formed, ex-employees, victims, bored nerds. They called themselves the Final Mirror. Their drop, a 2-hour video. Children, land, influence auctioned like wine. Buyers in tuxedos sipping $1,000 liquor. YouTube took it down. Too late. Parents recognized missing children. Survivors recognized rooms. Offices stormed. Condos firebombed. Governments rolled tanks. Drones hovered. Protesters labeled insurgents. Feeds flooded with distractions. The people replied, "Release the rest." Spray-painted, whispered, tattooed. Elites fractured, wives bugged husbands. CEOs hired mercenaries. A tycoon fled to a submarine. Another to a Himalayan fortress. Hunters chased with hard drives, bank logs, proof. A whistleblower handed a folder live on air. "They killed my brother. Now I kill their legacy." Bank ties to weapons trafficking. The clip went wild. The hooded figure emerged. Corruption doesn't die. It mutates. Stay awake. New elites rose. Digital sorcerers. tacticians of chaos. They traded secrets, brokered encrypted alliances. Trust died, families shattered, trials became theater, confessions aired for spectacle. A hydra of truth. Cut one head, two grew. Prophets offered order, surveillance states, AI enforcers, nationalist crusades. Millions followed, desperate for stability. The hooded figure's final broadcast, revolution is a cycle. Fire destroys and blinds. In ashes, fiercer monsters rise. Stay vigilant. Trust no one but the truth you see. The signal lingered. Secrets became sparks, downfalls, preludes. The scandal wasn't an end. It was the first flame in an era of chaos, rebirth, and wars waged in pixels. And as the world stared into embers, the silence deafened. The storm churned. The next chapter rehearsed its lines. If you found this helpful, like, share, and subscribe for more videos.